we're out here in the rocks and the dirt and the hills because we have a 2012 Toyota 4Runner Trail Edition. Let's check it out. The Toyota 4Runner Trail Edition slots right in between Limited and SR5. Now this model, 40 grand as equipped. Let's get this straight. The Limited is going to get you in that price bracket from all the bells and whistles and fluff, leather seats, heated seats, all those kinds of things. This model, yeah, it's got nav, it's got the in-tune sound system, it does have the moonroof, but other than that, all of that money is going into hardware, into components, and that's what makes the Trail Edition pretty cool. I mean, it's essentially a factory off-roader, as a lot of people would want it equipped. You could tell a Trail Edition just from the outside. Hood scoop for the menacing look. It's got entirely different front and rear bumpers. Those aren't just for looks, those are for approach and departure angles. They make them quite a bit steeper. Okay, it uses different wheels and tires. The Limited runs on like 20s, and I think these are 17s, and obviously you're going to have some bigger tires for off-road. And the rest, I said, is mechanical. I was excited to drive the Toyota 4Runner. It's a body-on-frame SUV, a traditional body-on-frame SUV, a segment that, frankly, I kind of was forgetting about, and a lot of Americans are moving away from. The Explorer, the Durango, both classic examples of body-on-frame SUVs that have made their way over to unibody chassis. You know, I still think there's a place in the market for the body-on-frame SUV. It gives you a solid chassis to hang some serious suspension off of, kind of that ruggedness that people expect. It gives you a little bit higher tow rating, and as a whole, they've improved quite a bit. I don't know if you remember the original or older Toyota 4Runners. Your feet were practically straight out in front of you when you were sitting in it because the seats were so low. The packaging is much better now. It can't quite compete with a crossover or a unibody for the packaging, but it's getting a lot better. The space in the Toyota 4Runner is decent. You can see it's become big enough now that you can even fit a third row back there, and you can get one. This one happens to be equipped with Toyota's sliding cargo system. Kind of cool. You can hold 440 pounds. You can put some big American butts on there when you're tailgating, or a big dog, giant cooler full of beer. It's got two different spots where it goes in and out. Obviously the seats fold down, and that gives you a decent amount of space. It's not going to be a minivan, but as a whole, the body-on-frame segment is not completely gone compared to the crossover. There's still decent space in there. The width and height changes to the 4Runner compared to especially the original make a huge difference. The Toyota 4Runner is using a 4-liter V6 5-speed transmission. Nothing really wrong with this setup, it just needs to be updated. 270 horsepower, 278 pound-feet of torque, and 5 speeds. There's nothing wrong with it, but in this day and age, those aren't really that great of numbers. The 3.7-liter I just drove in the F-150 was 302 horsepower. Smaller engine, more power. The 3.6-liter from Dodge and the 3.6-liter from GM both make similar or more power depending on what vehicle they're in. This thing needs direct injection and some other updates. Should be in the 300-plus power range. The 5-speed transmission, it really needs at least one more gear. Around town, you just really felt like you had to put your foot in it just to get it moving. Just always seemed like it needed one more gear. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, racing the 5.0 Mustang next to you at the stoplight. I'm talking about just trying to move your way smartly through traffic. Now, this is rated to tow 5,000 pounds. I think it can do it. It's a traditional body-on-frame SUV. It's rugged. It can handle it. But I do think that V6 is going to be laboring. The 2012 Toyota 4Runner Trail Edition here is equipped with the optional KDSS suspension system. It stands for Kinetic Dynamic Suspension System, and essentially what it is some hydraulic connections to the front and rear stabilizer bar that can essentially vary the amount of action those stabilizer bars impart on the suspension to reduce body roll and so forth. So we're on the road right now. This is kind of it's a paved road, but it's not exactly the smoothest road. And you can see kind of how much everything's moving. Some of that movement's due to the mount of my camera here. But we're about to turn off onto a gravel road. And Toyota bills this suspension as an advantage both on-road and off-road. On-road, they say not only does this KDSS suspension system keep your body roll and body motions in check, but it also actively works to smooth out even small bumps by varying the hydraulic pressure on those stabilizer bars back and forth. So now we're on this kind of rutted dirt road here, some washboard and so forth, and you know, the Toyota rides pretty well. I wouldn't call it supple. The 4Runners have always been a firm riding truck-like SUV in many respects, and this 2012 edition is really no different. Now, there is quite a bit of suspension articulation when you get off-road. Those wheels can move. It's coils all four corners, but even so, it rides firm. The only thing I found kind of interesting and ironic about that is when you kind of have to step on the brakes real fast for any reason, you get a lot of dive in the nose of the brakes, which I found kind of ironic given that it's such a firm riding suspension. It's not going to tire you out, but it's definitely not supple and luxurious. It errs on the side of sporty, which is kind of fun in a vehicle like this. Well, right now I wanted to quickly show you this system here. It comes in the Trail Edition, and you have two things you can work with here. Actually three. You got a locking differential you can work with too. You can hear it working right now. I'm in crawl control, and what this does is essentially a cruise control for going off-road. I'm not on the gas or the brakes right now, and the vehicle is monitoring and maintaining my speed. The KDSS system is working to control the suspension to give it the travel necessary. My only real complaint about this system is it's just so noisy. You can hear those actuators going on the stability control. You can hear the ABS kicking in to maintain the speed, the hill descent control. But overall, I think this is a pretty cool system for the serious off-roader. Going on these ruts right through here, pretty neat. Now this system here allows you to monitor or change your settings just like you would in the Explorer or as it first debuted in the Range Rover. It changes all your settings based on the condition you put it in. It goes from light to heavy, so allows you to do rocks, moguls, sand, loose sand, rocks, and so on. Overall, it's a pretty cool system. I'm going to keep this short and sweet just because I've said this many, many times. I like Toyota interiors. I find them very easy to use. I just get in the car, I can find everything. It's where I expect to be. Lots of cubbies, good storage, but they're just so cartoonishly big. Huge knobs, huge buttons, the giant lettering. I would like to see an update to the Toyota styling. I also had a little bit of problem reading the gauges on this vehicle. They use white lettering with a red needle, and it kind of floats above the lettering. It's kind of a cool effect, but it's hard to read, especially with sunglasses on. Lastly, up above the nav screen here, there's a little information system that tells you how to use the crawl control and stuff like that. It tells you the weather, temperature. It doesn't tell you the weather. It tells you the temperature, the time. There's not a big enough overhang to shade it from the sun, and with polarized sunglasses too, the combination, it's really hard to read. Well, I hope you guys appreciate this camera shot because it was a real pain in the butt trying to get my tripod here into the back seat. But the reason I did it is because I wanted to show you guys Toyota's InTune system. This is their answer to the Sync system from Ford. It's not going to win the infotainment race yet, but it's decent. It could use a few more iterations to get there, but Bluetooth pairing of your phone for all your needs. It's got apps, Pandora and stuff you can probably see there on the video. Bing, stock, sports, map. It is DVD-based navigation. Works pretty well. I'm not really a navigation guy. I just use my phone, but overall it's not too bad. What I did think was pretty cool about this is that when I paired my phone for Bluetooth audio, I got it going and I walked into the house to grab something I'd forgot. Came back, it was still playing, still streaming. I didn't realize the Bluetooth actually worked from that far away. I don't know if that's on purpose or if that's abnormal or not. But that'd be pretty nice if you're tailgating, hanging out around the vehicle. You can have your phone in your pocket and still send audio to the vehicle. Now, if you are doing that, Toyota includes this party mode button down here, which essentially sends all the amplified signal to the back speakers, the tailgate speaker and the cargo area speaker, which makes it really nice if you're, like I said, hanging out near the back of the vehicle and you want to have some tunes. Lastly, this audio system, it's pretty good. It's not even the upgraded JBL audio system, I don't believe. Great bass, real powerful. I'm just amazed at how good factory audio systems have gotten. So let's talk sticker. Okay, first of all, I know you really can't see it, so I'll just tell you the stuff you're looking at. This Trail Edition starts around $36,000. This model, $40,755 bucks. It ain't cheap. It does have the InTune navigation infotainment system. It's got the KDSS optional suspension component package. It's got that sliding rear cargo area. It's got the rubberized floor mats, a few of those types of things. And that's bumping you up to that 40 grand mark. What I think is kind of cool about that, though, is the 40 grand is really all in components, which you don't seem to get these days. Seems like usually your 40 grand is fancy paint, leather seats and heated seats and cooled seats and power adjustable foot pedals and backup camera, kind of those types of things. This is some serious hardware. And for the off-road enthusiast who's cross-shopping this with a Jeep or something, I don't think they're going to find that $40,000 price surprising. Now let's talk fuel economy. Not too much to say here. 17, 22, 19 combined. It's a big 4-liter V6 with only a 5-speed transmission. Those aren't terrible numbers given that combination. I would like to see Toyota do some updates with that, 6, 7, even 8-speed transmission, give some direct injection to that 4-liter, clean it up, make it a little more efficient, and perhaps they can bump that up 18, 23, maybe even 19, 24. Those would be some pretty good numbers, but this is a traditional body-on-frame SUV with big wheels and tires and 4-wheel drive. Don't be surprised by that fuel economy. I want to give a big thanks to Amigo Toyota for letting me cruise around, do a little off-roading, and checking out the 2012 Toyota 4Runner Trail Edition. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing and, you know, reposting this to Facebook and everything you do. I like to see that you guys leave comments. Keep them coming.